At my daughter's wedding, she whispered, "You're not my family anymore," and asked me not to join the family photo. I remained silent, and when she called my father-in-law, my real father, you won't believe what I did. 2 hours later, she lost control, and the consequences were impossible to stop. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. $25,000. My entire pension savings folded in this envelope, pressing against my chest pocket like a weight I couldn't ignore. The parking lot at Riverfront Manor stretched before me, a display of wealth that made my 15-year-old Ford look like a relic from another century. Mercedes, BMW, Lexus, cars that cost more than I made in 2 years at the factory. I sat behind the steering wheel, watching elegantly dressed guests glide toward the entrance. Women in designer dresses, men in tailored suits that probably cost what I spent on groceries for 6 months. My own suit, the best I owned, suddenly felt cheap and ill-fitting. The envelope crinkled as I shifted. 6 months of 60-hour weeks. 6 months of skipped meals and canceled plans. All for this moment, Georgiana's wedding day. My little girl's special day. Except she wasn't little anymore. 28 years old. Successful marketing career, marrying into money I could never provide. The Hayes family owned half the commercial district in Indianapolis. Norman Whitaker, her future father-in-law, could probably buy my neighborhood without checking his bank balance, but I was her father. That had to count for something. I stepped out, straightening my tie one final time. The March air carried the scent of expensive flowers and the sound of string music from the manor's gardens. Other guests moved past me with practiced ease, comfortable in this world of privilege. I followed at a distance, feeling like an imposter. The manor's entrance gleamed with crystal chandeliers visible through tall windows. Valets in crisp uniforms directed traffic. Everything sparkled with the kind of elegance that money could buy, the money I'd sacrificed to give Georgiana the wedding she deserved. "Dad," I turned, heart lifting at the familiar voice. Gianna stood in the doorway, radiant in her wedding dress. Silk and lace transformed her into something ethereal, a vision of bridal perfection. For a moment, she looked like the little girl who used to run into my arms after school. "Oh, you actually came." Her voice carried no warmth, no joy, just mild surprise, as if my presence was unexpected and slightly inconvenient. Before I could respond, she'd already turned away. "Norman Eleanor." Her voice brightened instantly, musical and loving. "Come meet my father." Norman Whitaker approached with the confident stride of someone accustomed to command, tall, silver-haired, wearing a suit that cost more than my monthly rent. Eleanor followed, elegant in navy blue, her smile perfectly practiced. "Alonzo, my friend." Norman's handshake was firm, his smile wide and empty. "How's life treating you in retirement? Must be quite an adjustment from the factory floor." The words hit like small needles. Factory floor, not factory work, not engineering. Factory floor, as if I'd spent 30 years pushing a broom instead of designing manufacturing systems that saved his friend's companies millions. "It's been good," I managed. "Congratulations on gaining such a wonderful daughter." "Oh, we're the lucky ones," Eleanor chimed in, her voice honey-sweet with underlying steel. "Norman, look how sweet. Our new daughter has such a hard-working father." Hard-working, another diminishing word, reducing 3 decades of skilled labor of the simple muscle and sweat. Georgiana beamed at them, her face glowing with genuine affection, the kind of warmth she'd once reserved for me. "Aren't they amazing, Dad? They've been so generous, so welcoming. They understand what family really means." The emphasis on really cut deeper than Norman's casual condescension. I reached for my daughter's hand, hoping for some connection, some trace of the bond we'd once shared. She stepped back smoothly, maintaining her perfect bridal pose. "We should get inside. The photographer wants to start with family pictures before the ceremony." Family pictures. The word should have filled me with anticipation. Instead, something cold settled in my stomach as I watched her link arms with Norman and Eleanor, walking between them, like she belonged there, like they were her real parents. I followed behind, forgotten, invisible. The envelope in my pocket felt heavier with each step. $25,000. My sacrifice, my gift, my desperate attempt to prove I still mattered in my daughter's life. The manor's interior took my breath away. Crystal chandeliers cast rainbow patterns across marble floors. Floral arrangements, taller than me, filled every corner, their perfume almost overwhelming. Tables draped in silk, chairs tied with ribbons that probably cost more than my weekly grocery budget, all of it paid for with my money, my pension, my security, my future comfort transformed into this display of luxury that impressed everyone but acknowledged no one. I was funding my own irrelevance. Magnificent, isn't it? A woman beside me sighed appreciatively. The Hayes family certainly knows how to celebrate. Your daughter is so fortunate. Fortunate, another word that felt wrong, suggesting luck rather than love, chance rather than choice. I nodded politely, unable to form words that wouldn't reveal the growing emptiness in my chest. Georgiana laughed at something. Eleanor whispered, the sound bright and musical. She'd never laughed that way with me, not in years, not since she'd started climbing the social ladder that led away from factory workers' daughters and toward respectability. The photographer was setting up near the altar, adjusting lights and testing angles. Marcus Lee, according to the contract I'd signed, $2,000 for wedding photography, money I'd earned working double shifts while other men my age were learning to golf. This way, please. A wedding coordinator guided me toward a side section. The bride's family, seating is here. Bride's family, singular, as if I was all that remained of Gianna's past, a relic to be politely accommodated, but not celebrated. I took the designated seat, watching Norman place his hand protectively on Georgiana's shoulder. The gesture was natural, comfortable, the way I used to guide her through crowds when she was small, before she decided that working-class love wasn't enough, that factory floor devotion couldn't compete with country club connections. The envelope crackled again as I sat down. $25,000, the price of admission to my own daughter's rejection, purchased with every overtime hour I'd worked since her engagement announcement. Marcus began organizing his equipment, chatting easily with the Hayes family. They responded with the casual confidence of people accustomed to being photographed, documented, celebrated. Georgiana glowed under their attention, basking in the kind of social approval I'd never been able to provide. We'll start with immediate family, Marcus announced, his voice carrying across the decorated space. All relatives, please gather around the bride. I stood smoothing my suit jacket, preparing to take my place beside my daughter. This was the moment I'd been waiting for, the formal recognition of our bond, captured forever in wedding photographs that would hang in their home for generations. Georgiana smiled brilliantly as Norman and Eleanor flanked her sides. Edwin, her new husband, took his position with practiced ease. The Hayes family formed a perfect circle around her, their expensive clothes and confident postures creating a portrait of success. I approached the group, my heart beating faster with anticipation. My steps felt lighter as I moved toward the photography area. Finally, the moment I'd been waiting for, standing beside Georgiana, being acknowledged as her father in front of everyone who mattered. The father of the bride photos that every wedding album contained, the images that would preserve our relationship for posterity. Marcus adjusted his camera settings, his professional eye scanning the group. Perfect lighting here. This is going to be beautiful. He looked up with a welcoming smile. Everyone ready? Let's capture this family moment. The Hayes family positioned themselves naturally around Georgiana, their expensive clothes creating a cohesive picture of elegance and success. Norman's hand rested proudly on his new daughter's shoulder. Eleanor beamed with maternal satisfaction. Edwin stood confidently beside his bride, secure in his place within this privileged circle. I moved closer, anticipating my position in the arrangement. 28 years of raising Georgiana alone, of attending every school play and parent conference, of working extra shifts to afford dance lessons and college tuition, all leading to this moment of formal recognition. Actually, Georgiana's voice cut through my approach like ice. I need to clarify something. She turned toward me, her expression shifting from radiant a bride to something colder, more distant. The transformation happened so quickly that for a moment I thought I'd imagined it. Sorry, Dad, but you're not my family anymore. Her words carried across the space with crystal clarity, reaching every guest within hearing distance. These are my real family members now. The world shifted beneath my feet, not metaphorically, literally. The marble floor seemed to tilt, the crystal chandeliers blurred, the expensive floral arrangements became a spinning kaleidoscope of confusion. 28 years of bedtime stories, school plays, graduations, tears and laughter, and dreams shared between father and daughter, erased with one sentence, deleted, declared null and void in front of strangers wearing thousand suits. Honey, maybe we shouldn't. Edwin's voice carried a weak note of protest, his discomfort visible even through my shock. No, Edwin. Georgiana's tone brooked no argument. It's time for changes. Hayes is my future now. This is my real family. She gestured toward the Hayes clan with obvious pride, her face glowing with the kind of love and acceptance I remembered from her childhood. The same expression she used to wear when I surprised her with ice cream, or stayed up late, helping with homework. Except now, it was directed at people who'd known her for 2 years, while the man who'd raised her alone stood excluded, dismissed, erased from the family portrait, like an unwanted shadow. Marcus lowered his camera, clearly uncomfortable with the tension he'd inadvertently triggered. Other guests had stopped their conversations, sensing drama unfolding. Whispers began spreading through the elegantly dressed crowd, like ripples across expensive silk. I understand. The words came from somewhere deep inside me, forced out through a throat that felt crushed. Enjoy your photos. I turned away from the group, from my daughter, from the life I'd thought we'd built together. Each step felt like walking through quicksand, heavy and uncertain. The whispers followed me, curious and sympathetic and embarrassed all at once. My assigned table waited in the corner, a single-place setting, surrounded by empty chairs. The wedding coordinator had mentioned other guests would join me later, distant relatives and family friends, but for now, it was just me and the stark reality of my isolation. I sank into the chair, my legs suddenly unable to support the weight of what had just happened. The envelope in my pocket crackled again, mocking me with its substantial weight. $25,000, the price I'd paid to fund my own public humiliation. Behind me, Marcus resumed his photography session. I could hear the clicking of his camera, the gentle directions he gave to pose the Hay family around my daughter. Their laughter carried across the space, warm and inclusive and complete without me. Beautiful. Now tilt slightly toward Norman. Georgiana. Perfect. Eleanor, can you move just a step closer? Excellent. Each click of the camera captured moments I would never be part of.